Throw Gang, we were joined by the Lord of the Looks, the Sultan of Styling, the editorial Emirati. I don't know if he's versed, but he's pulling all these tops and bottoms. Not a set diva, but it's campaign for his real friends and real pain for his cam friends. Used to have a V-man, but he's still a doll. He's got treats for the tricks and might break you off a piece of his fashion bars when this cat gets his kit. Working with Vogue, that's Jay and fuck-ass Bob. Call him Andrew Cunanan, how he's shooting designer. Oh, you're not fucking with his styling? How about he style licked these nuts? Getting paid for the work, but he still loves the trade. You know we going high fashion when Jay gets lit. Putting that shit on, it's a poo-poo platter with all these samples. Stylist, Jay Massacret. Jay, how the hell are you?
Yes.
Massacret.
I love that. I know when D's nuts come in, it's about like we're halfway through. These nuts is coming in. You love these nuts.
We had to delete a line from the intro at the last second because we realized that your name is spelled a la Chalamet.
A la Chalamet. E-T-A.
Or sorry, pronounced a la Chalamet.
Pronounced
so
a la
you're
Chalamet.
French.
Yeah.
So I'm French.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are both members of Club Massacret. We've been hyped on this one
Yeah.
for a while now.
I feel like
For
we
a
had to like not twist your arm, but this took some convincing. Am I correct in that assumption?
I don't know about twist my arm, but I was definitely like, oh shit, I'm gonna hear myself talk. Like, let's go.
More like
Took a little bit. Took a little bit of planning.
You're a busy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time, Jay.
Thanks.
We're
Thanks
happy
for
to
having
have
me.
you.
You're like
obviously.
flying out
Happy to be
tonight
here.
and then coming back tomorrow morning. Or like you're all over the place.
You're all over the place.
Yeah.
But we got you. So
Occupational hazard. So let's start with the fit check, Jay. What are you wearing today? Tell us
Oh,
everything.
the outfit of the day. Like this is like unboxing. This is like what girls do.
I guess.
All right, outfit
Okay.
of right. Fit check. I got some Loewe loafers.
heels down.
Mhm.
Heels down.
Ass
stepping
out.
on the heel. Ass
Drop
out.
the top.
Some Orslo jeans.
What about the socks?
The socks. They're Muji.
Oh, nice.
Muji Lab.
Okay.
You know that store in Paris? So good.
No, is that like a Muji like?
It's like just
concept
Muji
store?
clothes, and it's like from Japanese sort of point
Yeah.
of view. So it's all like it's amazing. They have
Muji is very underrated. I feel like everyone
Yeah.
obviously talks about Uniqlo, but
Yeah,
Muji,
and they don't have the clothes here so much. I mean, they have like a little section, but like
Yeah.
in Paris, they actually have like a whole store that's dedicated
full
to it.
line.
What is the Mujis in Japan have like full ass collections?
Yeah.
Very practical.
Yeah.
Don't they sell everything? Like you can get a Muji toaster. Am I bugging? Like don't
Yeah,
they have?
yeah. You can get it's IKEA,
Lifestyle brand.
IKEA of like Japan with like clothes. Yeah, lifestyle brand.
Is Orslo your preferred denim of choice? Because as a Western cowboy,
Mm.
what?
Yeah.
You're from the
Western
West.
cowboy from the France.
French cowboy. I saw that in Brokeback Mountain.
Yep.
Is that your denim of choice?
I'm liking Orslo right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm liking an Orslo denim. And then Studio Nicholson.
Ooh. Shout out our homies at Studio Nicholson.
Pro Club always.
Oh, okay.
Always a Pro Club. So the neck's got to be up here. It's
You
got
need
to
a
choke
beefy neck.
me.
Yeah.
You know?
Really? You just
Yeah.
want to be choked.
Yeah.
I want to be choked.
So we know what
That's
you're
really-
into.
yeah.
All for it. Good to know. All right.
Pulling all these
So much
tops
for
and
the first
bottoms.
part.
What about the shades and the croquis?
Oh yeah, the shades are Oakleys forever,
Okay.
and the croquis are Oakleys too.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at that. I love croquis, dude. I feel like not enough. I mean, I saw something where people were like used maybe one example or reference where like maybe it was going to be trending this year. Maybe one fashion brand did it, but I feel like it's an underutilized accessory.
I feel like
it was Jonathan Anderson. Who
It was a
showing off.
trend just like a couple years ago. Everybody had a neoprene one, the like the fat ones, and
Mhm.
you know. So yeah, a little skinny goes away.
What about the panties?
The panties are Hanes,
What type of panty we talking?
just a tidy whitey,
Oh, really?
Brief.
yeah, a brief.
Okay.
A brief, and
Fresh.
it's gotta be Hanes. I mean, I'll go to Sunspell maybe for a boxer
You're
Sure.
feeling fancy.
if I'm feeling fancy. But at the end of the day, I'd rather see some like, you know, not too precious underwear when
Skid marks and all.
Yeah.
skin marks and all. give me reality, no
Few
Photoshop.
mustard stains. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some the Willie Chavaria pre-distressed
Yeah.
ones. Any hardware?
Pre-worn.
Any jewelry? Any hardware?
No jewelry.
No
I've
ring.
got this little like this little
Wagwan.
Rastafarian friendship bracelet
Praise
that I
God.
got with 8 friends in Costa Rica about 2 years ago, and the only one that has it on still because they were all like, "It's disgusting." We're getting rid of
It must smell actually.
it. It
Honestly.
smells so bad.
Any of those friends get braids while you're down there?
Yeah.
Praise Jah. And you're sipping on your tequila hoe in the summer.
I am a tequila hoe in the summer and a whiskey slut in the winter.
All right. Seasonal.
What a fun Thursday being a stylist. You could just have shots of tequila on a podcast. Must be nice. He's working so hard, ladies and gentlemen.
Even more
He's
tequila.
getting crazy.
You getting liquored up for what show you seeing tonight?
Oh yeah, I'm going to see Zach Top.
Zach.
What is
Future
that?
of country. The future
Really?
of country.
Okay.
Yeah, he's great.
Better than Zach Bottom. I mean, it was right there. It's too easy.
Zach verse.
All right, Jay.
Yeah.
Thank
James.
you for making the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were saying, you're a hard man to pin down because like how many days of the year do you estimate you're on the road?
Honestly, it varies, you know, but since I've met you, so I met you I actually met you like a year and a half ago at this Hermes event.
When,
Yes.
when was that?
That was when we went to Aspen.
Yeah, but like what month?
That was
I don't
a year and a bit ago.
Okay.
And we started talking about coming on this like probably last fall.
Okay.
So
That
you know.
tracks.
As soon as we saw the Hermes Thai Yeti, the Yeti,
Yeah.
Yes.
we were like, we got to get this.
You were like, it was like you were there as like, I don't want to say talent. Is that what you were a guest and you did work?
I
there?
wasn't a guest.
No, really?
I did not get
But
to
you
ride.
got
I did not get to ride the private jet, even though I tried to get on it,
Really?
check it out, but I was not able to.
Honestly, overrated.
when you're forced to sit in the fucking asshole in the back, like fucking
Next to the
steerage,
bathroom.
dude.
Knee to knee, yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was worse than coach. It sucks, dude. People see this is a champagne problem that people don't know about.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so ever since 6 months ago, you estimate
I
you've
have
on
been
the road,
pretty
like,
busy.
99% of the time.
I'd say no. I'd say about like a good 75%. Not good for relationships. Let me tell you.
You don't say. Yeah.
Do you have hoes in different area codes?
I'm gonna start having hoes in different area codes.
Okay.
I had a partner, but you know,
Oh,
Right.
Jay's on the prowl. Best
Jay's on
summer
the prowl.
ever. Ooh,
So you
summer
t-
of Jay.
So you touch down and immediately fire up Grinder. Is that the move?
Immediately.
What's Grindr like in like Paris?
You know, I don't really do Grinder.
Oh,
Scruff?
I have done Scruff.
okay.
Sniffies? Is that one?
No, I don't do Sniffies.
Okay.
Sniffies is just.
Are you guys making these up or are these
It's
real?
like it's no, I don't know. Like, listen, you guys are like the gayest straight guys I've ever met.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
insane.
you.
I met you guys at the Hermes thing. You guys were talking about hanging out Friday with your like gay bottom friends and just watching YouTube videos all night. Like I don't remember which
I
one
don't
of you said
remember
that.
that sounds like something maybe.
One of you guys said that,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, I like these guys.
These guys are gay as hell.
But like second Friday of every month, we hang out with like our bottom friend and just watch like music videos with him
Oh,
all
that's
night on
definitely
YouTube.
you, dude.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Shout
wife
out-
is not
shout
a
out
huge
Action.
fan of that at the crib. Yeah.
Do you like being on the road so much, or is it just kind of like a perilous?
I'll
fact
say
of the
that
job?
I think it's part of the trade. You have to kind of jump around at a minute's notice, and your schedule changes all the time, and it's hard to make plans. But it's the joy of it and the hardship of it too, because it is tough to sort of duplicate yourself and be because you're like constantly like you're working on 3 projects at the same time sort of thing. And it's hard like for your head to just keep shifting around. And, these kind of creative ideas, it's hard to just put them on paper. It's a continuous thing that kind of, it develops. It's a work in progress as always, so it's hard to like sort of just like jump into a project and just be like, okay, well now I have to jump into this,
As a stylist though, so do you have a little notebook? I mean, are you super organized with like understanding the creative briefs and things, collections that you want to get into from the archive or from present or even the future? Or are you just like winging it anytime you show up on set?
No. My job and the stylist job just really varies from different brands and what the expectation is from the brand. Sometimes I'll just want you to come in and just like, just out of racks, make stories with them, out of already designed clothes, make stories. Or you're coming in and you are literally just a dresser on a shoot, basically, and you're just kind of consulting on that, or you're starting from the ground up where you're like sending, references and mood boards. And that's the most rewarding, obviously, and when there's trust between the creative director that you're working with or the house that you're working with or the brand or whatever,
How many miles do you have at this point?
How many are?
How many like frequent flyer miles?
Not enough.
You ran through?
Really?
Like no, I did this thing, and I mean, this is me in a nutshell. I've like kind of like saved them all, like I kept them all there for rainy day, and you know how they lose
Hoarding,
value as they like. So I've just like I've had so many. I don't know. I probably have like 1 million or something. But
Use
listen,
it or lose it.
But listen, a business flight is 1 million.
Yeah.
It's literally 1 million now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I'm just hoarding.
Is the travel part of the gig, this occupational hazard, is it still inspiring or are you totally jaded and over it?
Oh, it's rough.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what it is? It's the jet lag and being and having to. It's really that. It's the moving around and being in a different place and having a different sort of reality for a week or whatever. Like that can be really cool. But when you have to keep on like going back to Europe, and if you're going to Asia too, like it's just like it's a lot.
You feel like Bob Harris in Lost in Translation, just jet lagged and faded out of your mind. He's trying to fuck a 25-year-old.
I mean, I guess
Permanent existential crisis.
Possibly.
Just like honey.
What's my life? Except that he's just getting like, like just pulled around to different things and just like, I have to like come in and like, brands will be like waiting for you and they'll all be standing there with big eyes and you're walking in to a whole new sort of like, if it's a new brand you're working with, to a whole new, network of people, and they're all there waiting for you to solve whatever problems they have.
So you're like a problem solver?
Well, there is
like
that.
A fixer?
There is that aspect to every stylist job that comes in, because it's like you have the brand, you get the creative director gets the stylist, you know what I mean? Like it's all just like, so there's always this sort of like, oh, what can but it also really depends on the different relationships between brands / creative director and stylists.
So are there any, like, do clients ever have expectations that are just impossible to meet whenever you walk in on set and they're just like, all right, like the stylist is here, everything's going to go right now?
When they want, it's hard because things have changed a lot because of the amount of images that were kind of, I started old school. I started pre-internet, not pre-internet, but pre-social media.
Sure, yeah.
So it was just like blogs, but no, like, we weren't seeing these images like all day long, this amount of images. So now they want like, 10 pictures of like these subpar sweatshirts or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like whatever the thing is, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you have to somehow make that interesting, but then they just keep on like adding like, oh, and what about this? And what about this? And then you're kind of like, well, where's, how are we this is all going to water it down, So it's the expectations of them wanting to make sure that you're shooting. The expectation is always between the creative and, the merchandising.
Right.
The commerce,
the commerce thing, and I mean, it's art and commerce. It's always been that, but it's even more so, and I don't think I'm always like shocked because I'm like, I'm not sure that like this picture actually sells like the sweatshirt, I think if anything, whatever sort of, mood and sort of idea that you're putting out, that's the important part, like what it's coming out to, what it's making you feel like, whether it's a nostalgia thing, whether it's like, whatever the
aspiration.
thing is, aspiration, whatever the thing is, like that's what you really try to get out of this content that we are now, because now we're doing content.
Are people just, do they want too much and they're like, they're scared to like edit and like,
a lot of times they don't know what they want. That's what I'm saying. You walk in and they're looking at you like,
just like your ex.
Just like my.
Wait, so do you see yourself as then like this creator of content, or do you still think of it more maybe a highfalutin artistic way? Like, are you an artist? Are you content creator?
There's part of
get ready with Jet.
Yeah, exactly.
Fit check
coming soon. I mean, it's. I have an artist mind. I have a creative mind. So I'm always kind of, it's not, I'm always like, whenever we're doing pictures, right, I am coming in with the fashion aspect, right? The clothing, how that sort of fits in the picture. What you can't ever do is the end result, well, no matter everyone that's working on that, is that image. That's it. So it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing inside of that image. So you can't like basically, I'm just trying to say that the image is the final sort of thing. And like, you can't sort of like, you're going to have to take away some of the, like sometimes it's not, it's the styling, sometimes it's the hair, like whatever, but I'm trying to find the word and I can't.
Very Chairman Massacret. The ends justify the means, right? As long as you arrive at the final image that you like. Who cares how we get there?
But no, but that,
or you don't like it.
Who cares how to get there? Like it doesn't fucking everything matter. That's what matters.
The destination.
Not that the sweat, like that's like shooting yourself in the foot.
The journey isn't the destination. The destination is the destination.
Destination is
that's all that matters.
So like, what's been maybe without naming names, and without hurting any feelings, and without maybe compromising any future bags, what's been a recent challenging gig? Like walk us through the particulars of, and what made
I don't know
it so
about
tough.
I don't know about recent, but maybe it comes down to what I was just saying a little bit. Like, but just in general, I mean, this is something that can happen anywhere, you know. And it's when the brand sort of has this, when you are coming in as a stylist to shoot an advertising or a campaign, and the house or the creative designer or whatever has a real sort of specific idea about what the look looks like, but then isn't seeing it in context with what's happening in front of you. You know what I mean? Like they're seeing it like as they were, like against their white sort of backdrop, the look as it was, it's great. But then you kind of put it into context, into a picture, into whatever mood, like I was just talking about, whatever energy, aspiration it's giving you. And then it's kind of like lost in the thing, because you're no longer in a lookbook scenario, you know, like, so that's a challenge. And I mean, nothing recent. It's just like that just sometimes, you know, just depends on who you work with.
Cost of doing business.
Fucking creatives, man.
Yeah.
Fucking creatives.
So like, you're on the road 75% of the time, like you said.
Yeah.
Do you not turn down jobs? Are you just accepting everything that comes your way?
He's yes.
No, we definitely turn down jobs because we can't make it, or you know. But you know, I mean, I'm always up for a challenge for a brand, and you know, and then it depends on trust that the brand has with you, or you know, and it can be anything. They might just not like something that you're wearing that day, or like
really?
What I mean, you know, I don't know.
It's a superficial industry for sure, but that's extremely superficial.
Well, you know, whatever the thing is, you know, like there's always that to kind of contend with, for sure, because they are projecting some sort of thing on you, you know, when you walk in. So like, you know.
Do you ever feel like you switch up your personal swag to fit the gig?
Code switch?
Not really.
No. Oh, shit, I gotta figure out how to put on this Comme des Garçons.
Not really. I do like to wear a shirt at work, like sort of like keep it clean, you know, like I do.
Classy.
I do. I mean, I have a bit of a uniform, you know.
What's your uniform?
Like I said, like it's kind of a shirt and like a pant, and like, you know, it's very, very like just kind of goes away, because I'm trying to, I'm, you know, you know, we talked about this a little bit, like, you know, the kind, like why stylists dress so plain, or what, like, or, you know, and
you, Mel Ottenberg, Jason Ryder are the three that come to mind for me.
Well, it's you're walking into, every time there's this new idea about what this brand is supposed to be. You can't, you know, you're coming in but showing like a certain thing. It's like, it's too much, you know, like, and you have to kind of have a little bit of a uniform too, you know, just in general, just to go through life.
Is that more of a symptom of being an editorial stylist versus like a celeb stylist who's like a huge personality in their own right, like a
maybe
or something?
Maybe
is it a different skill set?
Maybe, I think so.
Yeah,
and I think a celebrity stylist too, like the artist you're going to be working with is going to want to, like, you know, it's going to look at you and be like, oh, I fuck with that, you know, like you know, it's not the brand. Yeah, this is a vibe. This is a vibe I want to get into. You know, like I don't know if like, you know, it's not really the same with like brands, you know?
Gotcha.
Have you ever had any aspirations to be a celebrity stylist?
No.
You prefer editorial and commercial
I prefer
work?
editorial. I've not, it's not, I just haven't done many celebrities, you know?
I mean, Skims.
Oh yeah. Well,
Miss
yeah, but that's
K.
like a shoot. That's like, you know, you know,
it's not red carpet.
My closest thing to celebrity was probably Lady Gaga earlier on.
Okay.
Well, I introduced her to McQueen. Yeah. So we were, you know, she was playing, he notoriously didn't, you know, fuck with celebrities. You know, he had done like the Bjork cover, but like he was really like not really into dressing celebrities, you know. And this is pre social media, so it's like you can still do that, you know, like pre brands and stuff.
It's allowed.
And I was telling him about Lady Gaga and how there was this like girl that was like, you know, Stephanie Germanotta that like, you know, kind of didn't give a fuck, and like I'm sure no one lent her clothes, and somehow they were like, you know, pretending to have like Margiela shoulders and their suits, you know, like or like a Hussein Chalain bubble dress, or like, you know, but. And it was like sort of like post indie sleaze. So she was taking all of those kind of like, you know, those kind of moments, and she's kind of being ironic about it. And I thought that was kind of fresh. Mm-hmm. And we went to the Brixton Academy, and then like Matthew Williams was actually,
Yeah, he was dating her at the time, probably, right?
dating her and working with her. Yeah. And we went backstage and then he met her and they loved each other. And then and then the bad romance thing happened. And then
A Star is Born.
A Star is Born.
That's crazy.
When your editorial work does involve a celebrity, do you have to treat them differently? As a stylist, do you treat them differently than you would just a
Definitely.
clothing rack? Yeah,
Definitely, because it's no longer this, even though celebrities now are getting a lot more they want something offbeat now.
Mhm.
There was a
They
time
wanna
when
be quirked up.
they want to be quirked up more so than they were, pre-social media,
Right.
like in the aughts, let's say,
Yeah. Yeah.
or like even the early 2010s,
Yeah.
like they want to, because there's just so many images, you better, do something that kind of stands out.
Do something crazy.
Do something
Yeah.
crazy. Wear crazy shoes.
So
wear a
social
crazy
media
hat.
is bad for fashion because you've been there, like you said, you've been there before, BCAD, right? Is it?
It is. The if aspect of fashion is gone with social media. Now
Brutal.
everybody
Knows
has a
everything.
fit, is a drip, or whatever the fucking thing is. Whatever the thing is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody is able to before you really had to sort of fucking find a way to get in there, find a way to sneak into the Marc Jacobs show, find a way, and those were the fucking greatest times, but be part of this secret society, that seems so exciting.
And you think that it being more inclusive or less gatekeeping is...
I don't know if it's inclusive or gatekeeping. It's that,
Double-edged sword, kind of. Or
it's a double-edged sword, yeah, because it's great that there's that it has opened up, and it is really good because suddenly, it was getting real stale. Fashion was getting really, really stale.
We're gonna talk about your time at V&V Man.
Wow,
Psychotic era. Of fashion,
Wow.
that's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Truly.
yeah, it was a good era. It was a good era. Yeah.
Just don't know if to go back to it.
No, I forgot what I was saying. But anyways, yeah,
But okay, with Gaga.
Gaga. Yeah.
She's someone that you worked with.
Well, I didn't work with her. I never worked with her, though. We did sit with her a bunch of times. This is again pre-social media, so we're sitting with her in a pub in London, and we're telling her about different hats to wear, and it's funny because I even remember, I don't know what the fuck I was looking back at text messages with her, and there's this one, and it's the last sort of text message I have with her, and she's like something about she's like, "Did you want to come and be creative director of the tour? I'm really kind of blah, blah." And I was like, I said something I was kind of busy on a project or something, and I did, and I'm what the fuck was that?
Yeah, dude.
I totally missed the mark with that.
Right. You missed the boat. You missed the Gaga fucking Titanic. Well, I guess that would imply that it sunk, which it didn't. But the cruise ship,
Yeah.
What? So who's the nicest celebrity you've ever worked with?
Kim's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, on that,
She has to be, right? Yeah.
She's really, she's
Otherwise
really
you'll
good.
fucking rob her.
I've never really gotten into anyone that's
Really?
yeah, honestly, maybe once. What's the?
You know what this is?
You know what? For a commercial job once, Pierce Brosnan.
Oh,
Was the
James
nicest
Bond.
guy?
No, was a little yeah.
Really?
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's a bummer, dude.
But you
that
know what?
sucks.
In his defense, it was. I don't even remember what kind of ad job this was. This was some I honestly have no idea what the brand was. He was on a boat, it was a rowboat, and inside of a studio, a fake sort of And I'm sure he was what the fuck am I doing?
This
on
is James
shit?
Bond. He's used to being on location,
Yeah. This is
he's having a bad
on
day.
location.
He was having a
Yeah.
bad day.
He's having a bad day.
Okay.
His son is a model now, right?
I see.
I think so.
A lot of these guys, their sons are models.
I'll say.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
They got good genes, literally and figuratively.
All right, let's go back to the clients that you work with, though. You mentioned that some clients are stifling you, or they kind of don't know what they want. What client does give you as a stylist the most creative freedom and room to do your thing that maybe you have a long-term working relationship with?
I mean, it depends on the relationship with the creative director or the brand.
So who right now do you
If they
love-
trust you, then they'll let you kind of push it and be a little bit more But it all parameters aren't bad. Parameters are good,
Yeah.
because we are working in. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're just I had this this consultancy with this Chinese brand, and it was actually kind of great. Like we were doing really, really cool stuff, and we kind of had carte blanche to do like whatever we wanted to, and it was really, really fun. But there was no back end to it. We would do these little projects, and it's such a big company that like there was no planning on how to like, we'd do a show and then it would be like, it'd be great, but then it would just kind of like there was no follow through. Like it's all, you have a sweatshirt. You show it, then it has to be on a celebrity, then you have to put it on some posts. You know what I mean? Like it's got to like naturally grow like that. Just doing a fashion show or just a cool picture or just a cool fucking sweatshirt with a cool pair of pants, like that's not enough.
But, so are you the person to be like, hey guys, I know I'm just here to like make this shit and it's all about the final image, but also like, let's talk strategy?
Well, it has to be.
Yeah?
I mean, I'm always thinking like that when I'm working with a brand for sure. Like not, I want it to look the best it can possibly look, but
So
also like,
you're more like a
but
marketing
also like,
strategist.
where is this going?
What's the intentionality?
It can't just be just like a fucking clown show, just for the sake of being a clown show.
Wait, so why are you charging marketing consultant prices?
I don't know. Don't talk to my agent.
Who's your agent?
Yeah, right.
Talk to fucking TF Creative Industries over here.
Mm-hmm.
So is there, in terms of the creative director, like who do you love having that push and pull with? Like who do you really have like the best working relationship with?
Well, I mean, right now, I'm doing some stuff with Hader Ackerman on Snow Goose, and
Sexy man.
Sexy man, and
The sexiest.
yeah,
Great
and the
professional style,
funnest,
too.
and he's so great, and he's really up for like playing and like and I mean, I think this is like he's got these two dualities with him. He's got that like that high fashion sort of Tom Ford thing, but he's also really into nature and this kind of like sort of like he can put all of that energy into that sort of project. So
Canada Goose stuff.
yeah, the Canada Goose stuff. Yeah.
Is it true he's a fantastic dancer?
I haven't danced with him yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Keyword being
only
yet.
cerebrally.
Cerebrally, yeah.
You never been out with him and like he just fucking bust out the flamenco at the club? No? Damn.
Very professional relationship.
Professional relationship. Yeah.
Respect that,
What
Jay.
client pays the best?
What client pays the best?
Chinese clients.
And on time.
None of them.
Yeah.
It really runs the gamut.
Who pays the worst?
The slowest. Who's got you on net
editorials where you're basically
Really?
you're basically spending your money on editorials. So
You're still waiting on some checks from like 20 years ago.
from different publications.
It's net 30 years.
You got $250 to make this shoot happen.
Yeah.
We'll send it to you in 10 years.
Also, details no longer exists.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. You can't even sue
Yeah.
a magazine that doesn't exist anymore.
Jay, we want to pick your brain on some kind of like larger topics, zooming out of like your job as a stylist and really just marketing guru, which it really sounds like you actually are.
Yeah.
Marketing strategist.
Sure.
Do you agree with fellow fashion genius, the mutual homie, Jesse Hudnut, that in today's world, straight guys that are into fashion are kind of like dressing like what they think gay guys dress like, and gay guys are actually dressing like straight guys in some semblance? Why do you think that is?
Oh, it's a big question.
The biggest.
And it's true.
Like, look at us. I mean, this is fucking.
No, I mean,
This is gay as hell, boy.
No.
it's literally like fucking it's like sports betting for you guys, like and I love it. It's like you guys know every single watch, every single little detail where this is coming from. Like you guys are nerds about it, and it's great. And I think gays and it was like, I remember when I was working in the mid-aughts, there was no straights in fashion. It really wasn't. It was like
The good old days for you guys.
It was an anomaly. The good old days. Yeah.
Make fashion gay again.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think gays have been dressing like straight stereotypes forever. I mean, if you think of the Village People,
Right.
if you think of the gayest person in our orbit right now, like the president, you know what I mean? Like
Second gay president.
First female president.
I mean, that guy, like, he's
Very campy.
Yeah.
He's super camp. His favorite song is YMCA.
True.
He likes to shit on a gold toilet, and
He's jerking off two dicks at once.
I mean, it's like, he's completely like, the amount of time he has spent with his hair and the metrosexual down.
Yeah.
The one doll we don't want to protect. Donald Trump.
So I don't know. I think there's part of like gays gays not wanting to feel too precious, maybe, you know, whereas maybe like straights are a little bit more like, oh, look at all this, like this is like, you know, yeah, I think this idea of not being too, you know, precious, like this yeah.
Is it reclaiming masculinity? Because like as a gay man in America, your masculinity is taken from you or chipped away at a little bit.
There's definitely some aspect to that for sure. No, for sure. I mean, I even remember when I first started in fashion, and you know, when you were talking about code switching, I would sometimes come on a job and I'd have to camp it up a little.
Oh, be gayer. They want you
Be
to
a little bit. It's not they. I was projecting that on myself. I was like, oh, I have to come in here and be a little bit more like, you know, a little bit more
the stylist,
bigger. That sort of like, until I realized that was not coming in here.
Massacret,
you know. Slay.
Massive slay. That's a free one for us. Yeah.
Damn, slay Massacret.
What made you realize that you didn't have to do that? Is that just maturity?
Yeah, maturity and understanding my position in the sort of like space and having confidence and, you know, and not relying on this sort of like, you know, idea of like, you know, fake it till you make it. Sure. So then you're going to do that. And like, you know, I feel good about my space in it.
Was there a singular moment that you can remember in your illustrious career where you're like, I have made it? Like a specific gig where you're like, this things have changed?
Well, I mean, and it was prematured, I will say. But when doing, you know, McQueen stuff, you know, menswear McQueen, when I got the call to do that, I remember it was at Milk Studios, I think doing like a Swarovski job or something like that. And I got the call to do that. And I was like, I remember being in the Milk Studios just like, oh my God, you know? And then I was like, okay, cool. Like now I can get any model I want. I can do anything. And then it did not work like that at all. I realized it came down real quick.
Right.
The problem is once you get something, you know how it is. Once you get something, it's like, the honeymoon doesn't last too long. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's but that was definitely a big, you know, like pinch me moment for sure.
False flag aside.
False flag aside. Yeah.
How did you and Alexander McQueen meet?
So I went to school in London for photography.
Okay.
And I was working at this early 2000, working at this Hoxton Square barn kitchen. And, you know, going to school. And then this was Shoreditch. There was nothing in Shoreditch. It was the most creative. Being there in the early 2000s was insane. It was like the most creative time. You know, it was like all these crazy like stylists that I looked up to. There was no social media. So this is people that you knew from magazines, you know, like I was like, oh my God, there's like, you know, Katie England or like, you know, there's like, you know, Alistair Mackey and Katie Grant and blah, blah, all these like people that were like, if you know, sort of thing, you know, and they were all buzzing around the bar. And then Lee came in.
You worked at this bar?
I worked at this bar 2 nights a week. Yeah.
Bartending?
It's like, yeah. Bartending. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
But you know, Europe's like different. It's like, there's not really like, or England, it was like everyone's sort of bartending and barbacking.
Barkeep.
Pretending
barmaid.
Barmaid.
You were a wench, is what you're saying.
I was a wench.
Okay. Titties out. Yeah. All right. So you worked at the bar
Lee comes in with Sarah Burton, and Lee, through Sarah, starts passing little notes, like little like sexually explicit notes.
Oh. Do you still have them?
I fucking wish I did.
Oh no!
Yeah,
What did he say to you?
I know.
What was the vibe?
Something about nuts. Because you know these nuts. I mean, it always comes back to these nuts.
Wait, so Lee was a little sassy little minx.
Oh, Lee was super sassy. Yeah. He was super sassy. So and it went on like that for like 3 weeks. Wow. And then like,
okay, so he's also a pussy.
He'd come in.
That was sexting back then.
Yeah, that was literally sexting. Yeah.
Drew you.
So he'd like and I'd send back little like notes and stuff like that, and like, you know, and then so that's how we met. Yeah.
You guys dated a little bit?
We did date early on. Like this was like early on in his, you know, he's just at Givenchy.
Right.
And we date for like, you know, 6-8 months or something. Yeah.
What was your first impression of him? Back to when he was
like super fun, like also bonkers. But like there was this sort of like, unpreciousness about him that I really was like attracted to. And, you know, and he was so, he was, you know, I was 20, you know, so I was like totally in awe of him. And he was also a kid. He was 30, you know, like, and
Age gap summer, baby.
yeah. But it was, yeah. So he was definitely like, you know, a crazy source. And then, you know, I worked with him, you know, later down the line, and it was a crazy sort of hire. And I was sort of like, whoa, like, you know, I was really green, but I learned so much, you know, with him.
Did he hire you to work for him because he felt bad for dumping you?
I think so.
He's like, throw this guy a bone.
It's another false flag.
Did you recognize his genius immediately when you first started, when you guys came into each other's orbit, or did you have the pleasure of realizing it as he like unfurled?
I think because I didn't know. I mean, I was magazine obsessed in San Francisco. Like I would like, you know, I was like The Face, ID, and Dazed and Confused, and I would go like to the shop and get it every month, and I was like, you know, that was the Bible. And he had been like he's, you know, he had been like featured in those, and so there was this duality with him that also made me feel like I could be part of it too, because he was working in this sort of like high fashion sort of element, but he was just like
a bloke,
like a total, you know, and somehow that felt close to me, you know.
Yeah, for that like 6 to 8 month period, were you like low key one of his muses? You think?
Ooh,
in some departments, yeah.
Okay. All right, say less.
Is it fair to say that he is the most influential person in fashion in the late 20th, early 21st century?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Do you still see his influence today?
I'm starting to re-see his influence, right? Because there was that things are cyclical,
right? What do you
so, well, I'm just seeing like even just like, you know, like the bum surging that are like, you know, it's sort of like, and it's all part of this like indices Y2K sort of thing, but it's really him that started that whole thing and a fashion level. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I am seeing all this, and I think there's a lot more like kids that are coming up today that are influenced by him. There was a moment, and it was hard for him, I think, like in the 2010s, late 2000s, you know, that like, you know, they were asking him to design all these different collections, you know, the resort and the pre and no longer making these spectacles.
Sure.
So because for him, it was construction, but it was also mood. And that's the thing that I learned a lot about him too, is the kind of experience you're getting out of seeing imagery or a presentation or whatever's coming out with clothes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's where his burnout famously came from, right? Is this like being pulled in all these directions? Obviously is something that I think is so prevalent now, but maybe back then, like you're saying, was like maybe a newer thing as the industry
It was a
evolved.
totally newer thing.
Yeah. Crazy.
And he would have been canceled today because his Twitter was insane back then, and no one was on Twitter. And his Twitter was
Are those
wild.
tweets still up?
No.
What's he doing? Like tweeting like fucking...
What
I don't know.
The notes that
He was
passing you?
tweeting. I don't know. I've tried looking for it. I can't like...
Oh, we got to find this, dude.
They were wild, but no one was paying attention to them. So it didn't matter.
Fire.
That's incredible.
And he was like off the cuff. Like,
You don't say.
wow.
When he was
These
over
are late night. These are late night texts.
Oh, I see.
Okay. All right.
Working at that bar, just like as you started to make your foray into the fashion world, besides Alexander McQueen, who have you like worked with or gotten to know in fashion who also is at that level of genius?
Who else have I worked with? Or
Just gotten to know on a personal level.
Besides yourself,
there's
obviously.
also like don't ever meet your heroes sort of
Yeah,
thing. You know,
that's true.
I think that's a little bit that has been a big sort of revelation too. All these people that I kind of grew up like looking at in all those magazines, and
They suck.
They've disappointed you though, or been underwhelming.
Yeah, maybe a little. Like there has been some moments that I've worked with people and I was like, fuck, I thought this person would have had, you know, but I get it. I totally fucking get it. It's like you start getting into this like groove of something, and then you're kind of like, you know, everything that we put on other people, all this expectation and all these like, you know,
projection.
It's projection, you know, like no one is gonna be the exact sort of like, you know, like image that we have of them.
When you say they're in a groove, does that mean like just creatively? They're like, oh, this works. I'm gonna just keep like,
Creatively or just this works and I'm just going with that. And
all right, more rattlesnakes on denim.
Yeah.
more rattlesnakes on
It's
denim.
just a cruising. It's a
Everyone
cruising
loves-
altitude, and they just like it's a rut, kind of. You would say, or is it like this is making money?
and also success, sort of like and money and power sort of breeds contempt too.
Complacency.
Complacency a little bit. And I think that's hard for anyone to like. Once you get the keys to the palace, it's hard to like keep a straight face.
On the flip side, who have you met that has lived up to the hype?
Us.
Yeah, besides throwing fits.
Definitely throwing
You're
fits.
seeing genius in action right now.
Throwing fits.
And maybe there's no
No
answer.
one?
Damn. I mean, which is fair.
That's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Every
like
every creative director listening to this.
Maybe
is
I guess
fucking-
Carl
Oh.
Lagerfeld, just because whatever you thought of Carl was exactly what he was,
Speaking of fucking off the cuff Twitter.
like
Every rumor you heard is true and legendary.
and there was no like
What was the craziest thing Carl ever said to you?
I don't know. He
A man-
lose some
I,
weight.
have, I haven't
Crazy
done.
shit.
I didn't do. I only did 2 shoots with him, but I just remember sometimes he'd like whisper like little dirty things, like, and you're just kind of like, what? Like,
We're working here, bro.
not to me, but just in general,
anyone.
Like,
Like-
oh, look how fat that fucking model is. Like,
that's different.
Lose some weight, you chonker.
he was famously like
Yeah.
fat phobic, right?
Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah.
as a former big boy,
I
himself.
never got that. I never got. It was more sort of just like kind of lightly flirty banter.
That's nice. A little
Wanna
onset vibe.
flick my ponytail. Well, speaking of designers, so like of all the moves that have been made in this past year's fashion designer shuffle, whose work are you most excited to see? Because it's all coming up.
It's all coming up. It's actually crazy doing stories right now because there's no creative directors anywhere, and you're
Right.
looking at the collections, and there's literally nothing. It's really wild.
Do you prefer
right
it when there's a singular vision?
Of course.
from a creative
And it's
director at the head of
hard.
the house?
Those big brands, those big juggernaut brands that I have to shoot in magazines and stuff. And I was literally just talking about it with this creative director this morning. It's really hard because you have to place them in the magazine, but they're not giving you, they're not giving you like directional things, like it's and right now it's a real like in between season. I mean, they're not even lending clothes for different brands because they're just like waiting for it to like clean out.
They're real placeholders, like straight up. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we just
yeah,
do a
yeah,
thing
yeah.
to have a thing on a rack, but we
Yeah.
don't even want to shoot it.
Well,
Yeah.
from like Matthew Blazy to
So I'm very excited about Mathieu. I think I'm really excited to see that. I think just to see this change at Chanel, and that's really exciting. I'm really excited for my boys Jack and Lazaro at
Sure.
Loewe. What
Big shoes to fill.
they can do with like unlimited sort of resources with that. I think it's a hard gig, but it's I'm super excited for them.
Are you bullish on them? Just because you
I am.
are friends with them, right?
I am.
I've seen the hot tub photos.
And because yeah. because they've been at an independent brand for 20 years, like and it's hard. You think everyone's like, wow, like it's like the biggest New York brand, and it is, but it's like there's a lot of work that comes in that, and many hats, and suddenly they're at this house and they can actually just be creative and not have to think about this amount of fabric can only be used for this,
Right.
so I'm really excited to see what
big
they
shoes
do.
to fill, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh?
Big Loewe
Big shoes to
loafers
fill. Big
Yeah.
shoes to fill.
Bulbous lasts.
Big shoes to fill.
Real quick on Matu at Chanel. What do you think about the rumors that like he could be bringing menswear to Chanel? Do you believe that, or do you think that's
I do believe that.
okay?
Ooh.
That could be really interesting.
Carl did it for a bit.
Yeah, but wasn't a lot of that like for VIP clients? And they never really
Yeah.
talked about it. Maybe a
Yeah.
male model, but in terms of
Yeah.
like proper menswear, that could be a real sea change.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in menswear. So I can see it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is Chanel going to sell like a bunch of menswear clothes? I'm not sure, but it'll be good for the brand as a whole, and that's kind of what we're sort of.
And you're available.
and I'm available, and men's is a huge market, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Look at us.
Look at you boys.
I mean, so
You got this little podcast.
you remember a time when there were no straight men in fashion. Now that
I
there are
do.
straight men in fashion, how is that? Have you like?
And I remember working at Tokyo. So my first gig was at Tokyo on this like magazine that
Yeah.
was like literally right here
Yeah.
on Clinton, and it was really cool. And we had like everybody in it, and I came and did fashion for it. And I was able to bring all these people from London, like Benjamin Husby or Jacob Kleischberg, like bringing all these people. But there was this kid I remember, like he did this brand, and he was getting frustrated with me because and I got it. Like I had, the door was open for me. Being gay was a lot more open for me than it was for him. You know,
It must have felt nice.
That's
It felt nice, I'm sure.
It did feel nice,
Yeah, right?
It's always nice when the door's open for you.
Yeah,
You know, but I
It's
understand.
so hard being a straight guy in America.
it really is, dude.
It's hard, yeah, and I think it was for a second. Now we're back. Now y'all back, and you guys can just sit down for a second. But for a second, it was hard. I
Right.
get it. Like there was nothing a straight guy could do that had any value,
It
which
was
is
like
insane.
rough 2 years
Did he
for sure.
have to-
It was a rough 2 years, and I get it.
Did
I
they
get
just,
it.
Did they just suck and fuck their way to the top?
Huh?
Did they just suck and fuck their way to the top?
Possibly, just like everyone else.
You're not better than it.
Metaphorically. Okay, so question for you. The Proenza boys, formerly Proenza boys.
Yeah.
How do they feel about dogs?
I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah.
They love dogs.
Okay, all
They
right.
love dogs. They have a dog.
Okay. An unkicked dog.
No.
Yeah. And a live dog.
They're really good with
And a
dogs.
live dog.
They're really, really good with dogs.
Speaking of dogs and those that have that dog in them, Kate Moss, she's a homie, right? Former homie?
I mean,
You guys, whatever.
I
It's
don't-
like the between
did,
years.
did I ever hang out with her? I don't know. I
Do you
don't
have her
like.
number?
I mean,
There's a photo of you guys with Lee. Like,
yes, of course. And with Lee, I met a bunch of people, and a couple times I've hung out with Kate, and I don't remember much of it, which is probably
Well, that's our question: is she the reigning champ of the most fun fashion person to
yes,
party
she
with?
is, for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
She's the Michael Jordan of partying.
That is her life.
Still,
Well, I mean, it's her life, meaning that's what she
Right.
comes in that room and she has to light up. You
she
know?
has to
And
pass the
and-
CD case. She has to.
Exactly.
Right,
What a
right.
time.
She has to become like whatever you are, and be part of the game too, whatever
Really?
you're kind of imagining.
That's kind of sad, no?
But that's I don't mean it like in a way where you're like, come in, you're like, tell me who to be. She's herself, but like
Yeah.
you have, again, she's coming in a room and all these people are looking at her. You're going to be the secret weapon in this, you better,
Right.
you better do a shot of tequila.
Hop to
Better
it.
work, girl.
Hop to it, Kate.
Were you able to keep up with her when she was in her prime, or was it like trying to guard Michael Jordan one-on-one, which that's a sports thing?
I'm sorry.
What were you able to
Come
keep up-
again?
Were you able to keep up with Kate Moss in the club when she was in her prime, or was it like trying to out-design Karl Lagerfeld in terms of output?
It's a better reference.
You can never out party Kate.
Right.
She's number one.
She is the number one.
That's great.
She's GOAT.
What did the Saturday night out look like for you in your partying prime?
Oh, party. Oh, that's
Yeah.
like, so,
Walk us through it.
oh, it was like, just like clubbing. Like
You're hanging out with
big,
Tina?
big clubbing, Lux, Berliniansburg. You're like hang out with Tina. No, absolutely not. I definitely had my wild days. And by the way, it was everything.
Yeah.
San Francisco clubbing, London clubbing, doing tons of drugs, drinking, like, feeling shit about things, recovering from things. It was all part of it. It was
Yeah.
all part of this mood and this energy,
Right.
that feeds into culture, into what you're wearing, into all
Yeah.
of that, like,
What was the most fun city of all those that you mentioned?
I mean, New York is the funnest.
Okay, great.
New York,
Good
New
to
York, New York was,
That's why we wish you spent more time here.
I know. No shit.
Were
I
your
would like
fits-
that.
Were your outfits more or less fire when you were on drugs?
Oh, way more fire. Then I didn't like. Then it was like there was no uniform. Are you kidding me? Like
What was the
I
uniform?
It was just like doing a different look. Like
Were you like dressing up like a different personality, like to the club? Like, is that where you?
I
really felt-
definitely was dressing up to the clubs when I was like 18, 19, 20. Yeah, yeah.
And
And I
what
think once I went to London, I stopped. But San Francisco,
Mm.
really, this is early, like like clubbing days,
Gotcha.
and
And,
it was everything.
Do you have a personal style phase that you look back on now and you cringe at?
My friends will. I had these Miu Miu boots that Kim Jones gave me.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Spring or fall 2007 men's. They were like kind of construction boots with a bunch of like of studs on them.
Okay.
And then we had both like done the Mew Mew trick of putting two different types of laces. So I had like 4 different laces on it, and they called them monster fashion boots. Everyone called them monster fashion. So I would like walk around with my monster fashion boots, and I think that might have been my most cringiest moment. But everything it's all cyclical. You
Right, because those sound sick. By the way, like would you wear those tomorrow?
I might. Honestly,
back.
I will fight my friends for this because it was not that bad of a moment.
Just kick them. Kick them with those. Okay, and what's a Saturday night like for Jay Massacret now? For Slay Massacret?
Ooh, Love on the Spectrum.
Yeah?
Binging Love on the Spectrum.
Great show. Heartwarming.
Heartwarming.
Sounds like, the club, that energy, that subculture was such a source of inspiration for you. What about like right now? Where are you finding inspiration these days?
Still not clubs because I don't go to clubs. I think still on the street. Like I mean, I'm amazed at how everybody has kind of great style. Like everyone has their own lane. There's no real like trend per se.
Nope.
Everything's a trend and nothing's a trend.
Right.
Yep.
I think that's kind of cool. It's a lot more democratic. So really
do you
like
think
I'll go to like that bar cassette, that,
Yeah.
and it's like full of like the coolest lesbians in the world, and they just dress like they're
not even trying, right? They're just like,
it's impeccable.
Are
Yeah.
lesbians low key the most like stylish subset of human?
oh yeah, they got it.
It's definitely
And
if I could be a rafting lesbian, that's
What's a rafting lesbian?
like someone
A
that lives
gorpy
in like
lesbian?
Utah that like takes you out of like fucking rafting.
a white water rafting guide?
Meryl Streep and River Wild.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a U-Haul lesbian type thing.
It's the same difference.
Yeah. They just pull up with the inflatable raft. Jay, what brands do you wear the most personally?
We have and I see you on your podcast and I'm like, God damn it, James, you bought the same jacket I bought.
What is it?
Orly.
Oh.
Of course.
I'm loving
you love Orly.
I
saw it
love
at the show.
Orly.
Yeah,
I
at the
love
show.
Orly.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. It's really, really good. My good friend Charlotte Collet does it. And,
The styling?
not Colette, Collet.
Oh,
E.T. Chalamet.
there it is.
There
She's
it is.
the stylist for the runway, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they're doing really great stuff.
That's an instance where I think the styling really almost like elevates the clothing
for
and
sure.
the entire collection because people are like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
This is what's
context.
personal with it. This is what's possible with it.
Yeah.
Because like on its own, each piece of clothing is like fairly straightforward. I mean, it is very special and textiles developed from scratch. But then like when the way that she puts it together, people are like, oh,
Yeah.
I understand the possibilities now.
Yeah. And that's the most rewarding job, right? Like that's the most like coming in and like being able to like kind of transform something that kind of
Right.
and
Create the
give it
concept.
stories. Like be like, oh, this is this character and this is going to be this character.
Do you do shows?
I haven't done a show in a little bit. I've done many shows. I haven't done one since COVID.
Okay.
Basically. So in a while now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Orly, what else?
Yeah.
I like Studio Nicholson.
Yeah.
Um,
Shout out Nick and Felix.
Mhm.
I like Our
Nicholson bag
Legacy.
Yeah.
Huh?
Got
Studio
the new
Nicholson
Porter
bag and Studio
bag.
Nicholson
yeah.
jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Arlegace.
Yeah. I love Stussy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have
Stussy
you been to the
makes-
store?
No, I'm not fucking with that line.
Yeah.
I am not. I refuse.
You and us
Like-
both, brother. No way.
Like, there's no way. Like, the lines are really, they're killing. I get frustrated and mad when I go to Prada and they won't let me go in. They have to wait for like the personal shopper to
Right.
come to you. Like, dude, like this store is huge. Let me just walk in and just kind of
Yeah.
like,
But there's what kind of perks do you get then as like, a guy like who has
well, I
it?
could call Prada and let them know that
but
I'm
you're
outside.
too
But
proud.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
Like, I'm not, I don't like, that whole part of my job, which a lot of people do,
Mm.
I can't do it. I don't like to do it. And by the way, I miss out because of it.
Right. You should do it.
Do you
but
get free
don't.
clothes?
I used to get a lot of free clothes. Every now and then I'll get something. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
snatch something off of like off the set or
No,
like
no,
you ever?
no,
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 never.
never.
Oh, okay.
Because that is like death. Like,
Oh yeah, that's
like literally death because like, you're having all these market people like call in all this stuff. Everybody, like don't ever take anything from a
gotcha.
set. Like
That's the number one
anything.
rule. Gotcha. Okay. No sticky fingers.
Wait, so what are the perks then?
Even if there's 100 boxers, Calvin Klein boxers, and no one will like someone will know. Like
Really?
don't like
They're
Even
used.
the Uniqlo socks?
yeah.
Or the Muji socks?
Yeah. We always take socks.
When I do Muji campaign, yeah.
We always take the socks.
Yeah. Because they're always like, you put the socks on, they're like, just
Oh,
take
that's
the-
fine. If you take
You
you,
can't, I
you
feel
put
like
them on.
you
You're
can't
like,
sell them
that's fine.
after
That's
they hit feet.
no.
What are the perks? You get flown business?
I mean, so that better be a perk. I mean, if you're working and you're
So what
just
are the
jumping
perks?
around, I mean,
If not free clothes.
I free clothes for like having access to that is great. But that was really like at magazines, working at magazines. Like
Oh,
you guys must get a lot of stuff
Yeah.
because you guys are the new magazine.
A lot of
much,
garbage.
too much.
A lot
you
of
guys,
garbage.
you guys
if we're
are
being
the new
honest.
magazine.
Well,
Thank
dog
you.
shit.
I agree.
Huh?
We are.
Well, we get a lot of dog shit, but we get a lot of good stuff too.
Yeah.
So-
Once they have your
I still
address, they'll send you
I still
fucking
get
anything,
it.
dude.
You can't blame them. You got this little market person that's in the thing, and they're like,
Yeah.
what will they like?
Yeah. Should we do a podcast? What are some brands that you personally never wear, never going to hit body DJ, but you love to work with?
Well, I don't know about working with, but like for example, Rick Owens. Like it's a brand that I could not wear. It's not for me particularly to wear, but I'm like, I think it's amazing.
Right.
I think it's like whatever he does, it's so not my lane,
Yeah.
but it's amazing.
Right.
And I think
You
he's
can
an
appreciate it.
incredible designer, and it's like it's insane to me.
He's the pinnacle of that, right? Where it's
the
like-
stuff that he does.
You can have an enthusiasm for it, even if it doesn't necessarily, you're not wearing the fucking heels or the
Yeah.
6-inch platform heels, whatever.
McQueen was never fully my style either. Like
You
even
never
back
rocked a
then.
skull scarf?
Yes, I think I did.
They're coming back
But-
crazy, which is
It's-
wild.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
Chalamet, most
Yeah,
famously,
Chalamet,
right?
Chalamet.
But yeah.
Chalamet's really like bringing on all that.
Yeah. True Religion's a McQueen skull scarf. Tim's like,
Hater.
Whatever.
He's Muchi's with your boy Hater.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
He's
mean,
amused.
I love the Tom Ford stuff he's doing. I mean, I don't know if it's my fit, but like, it's so sharp and so like,
the first show was great.
severe and
Yeah.
like,
Sexy.
dripping of like,
Leather.
of gasoline and sex
Oh, yeah.
and cigarette.
That's
Like,
kind of your swag,
yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
sexy masculine energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Big daddy energy.
That's me passing you. That's me pulling a Karl Lagerfeld.
Passing a note.
Do you have a dream client, Jay? You'd love to work with one day that you haven't worked with just yet.
There's no dream client. It all depends on like, I mean, sure. Like if would working for Prada be cool? Like, yeah, it'd be cool, but it's not, there's always, no matter where you come in, there's always going to be these kind of crazy complications. It's always a mess. Like, for me, like the most rewarding is, like a small sleepy, like Japanese brand would be great. Like something like that, like that,
Really?
that is, most exciting. Yeah.
When it
And
comes
making
to
a difference, because you want to come in and make a difference, right?
Right,
Like that's the
Right.
like,
Not just like be a cog in the machine.
put a stamp on it. When it comes to getting new gigs and new clients, like how much of that is outreach from like your like agency or representation, or like how much of that is just like inbound, like you sit and wait? Like what's your personal strategy with that?
I mean, I still rely on editorials. I still rely on doing stories for magazines that sort of like, sort of get people thinking about me again. I mean,
Gotcha.
that's my
card.
currency. That's
Yeah.
my calling card.
Got
That's why like I don't mind spending money on editorial. That is like, that is still somehow the most effective sort of way to communicate something, even if they're like even if now, we're having to do so many more things on set than just that one picture and finding that weird little quirk or that weird
Right.
little mistake that's actually going to like bring up some kind of emotion and that's going to make you feel something,
So that's really how you approach like the jobs. Like, how can we like highlight the imperfections or the?
Well, I mean, it can be, right, because you're trying to shoot a sweatshirt and a pant or whatever it is,
Sure.
and how do you, finding the little, the mistakes and the sort of and the vulnerable things like that evokes emotion in you. Something you can even relate to, like even if you see an ad and there's something wrong, like, and it's wheat pasted, imagine you have something wrong and something kind of right, like you're going to turn at the wrong one, you're going to look at that one but it has to be the right sort of like, push and pull basically.
I mean, you talked about how editorial is kind of your calling card and how that like generates leads and business. Does any part of you feel pressure? I mean, we've kind of talked about how social media like maybe isn't the best thing for the world in general. Does any part of you feel pressure to like be a guy on social media?
Be a what? On
Be
social
a
media?
guy, like be like, you know, fucking like flexing all your work, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
massive, giant
I
following.
was super late on that, and now I, you know, and by default, I only post work stuff.
It's a
on my
portfolio
Instagram.
for you
It's
now.
a portfolio for me, which is not the way to go about
Why
it.
not
Like,
post any personal stuff?
that should be that's because I'm like old school. I'm a '90s kid. Like humility was never about showing
There's-
everything.
There's
I come
shirtless pics on there, to be clear.
because I had to throw them up because I was like, wait a second. I have to actually do a post every year. I do a post where it's like,
Yeah.
this is my life. I'm shirtless.
My
in
wild and
Arizona.
crazy shirtless life
Like, you
by
know,
Jay
to
Massacret.
also be like, I am a real person.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, and these are truly me. Like, these are like, you know, but like, yeah, like I haven't, you know, I think there's people that do it like super well. Like Lotta does it, like
Sure.
is amazing at it. You know, she gives you a whole sort of plethora of things and all, you know, it's all linked and it's her and her friends like drinking champagne at the in the Miu Miu you know, in the Miu Miu store, like sitting on the carpet, like just kind of being ratchet, but like, you know, with Miu Miu clothes and champagne and like
Right.
Petra and like that's amazing, you know, like that's
you can't do that.
I cannot do that.
Damn.
No,
We would
no.
love, but the people
And I
would love
can't.
that.
And I am from the thing where you're kind of like you're a little bit like
Mhm.
you know you're a little like you hide or something.
Do you
like,
want to keep your
out
private?
of,
You want to keep your private life private?
it's not even about that. Even though yes, I do need some privacy for sure. But like that's not. I just haven't. I'm kind of old school in the way.
You're physically incapable of posting a selfie.
Well, I am, but it's so obvious when I'm doing it. I'm like, here it is.
Mhm.
Just don't think, Jay. Just post.
Yeah,
Just post,
Just
yeah.
post. I know that's correct, and so I do that. I do that on my stories.
True. That is
I do
true.
my stories.
Do you think we're in the era of the star stylist? I mean, like Law Roach, we mentioned he's, you know, fucking mega. Like, and is that a good thing for the
It's a
profession?
different thing. I've always thought there was star stylists. They just were not advertised like they are today. You know, like
don't have their own
like
TV shows.
like they don't have their own TV show. They don't have their own deal. They're not fighting to get to. They're not fighting with their client to sit front row. You know, like whatever. Like you know. There was, you know, Joe McKenna, like, you know, Anna Coburn, like, you know, Jane Howe, like Ray Petrie. These are people that if you knew, you knew, you know, and these were like, you know, if I spotted them at like something, I'd be like, oh, damn, like that to me, like and that felt so much more special, right? Because you were inside of this little, you had nerded out so much that you were like able to kind of figure out who these people were.
Right. So ultimately, just not like you don't want to be a star stylist yourself.
No.
Just
No,
wanna do the damn
and I
work.
don't think I'd, you know, I'm better. Like
You're not built for it.
I'm not built for it. You have to have like, you know, and also with celebrities, you have to be a bit of you have to like do some kind of slight therapy and just kind of like, you know, I mean, the celebrities that I've worked with that I've liked are the ones that are sort of just like, kind of like older women, like even Julia Binoche, like someone like that, like great, like they're like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Robert
like,
Pattinson.
you know, Robert Pattinson.
How was he? How was
He was
Holocaust?
great. He was
Yeah.
super cool. Yeah.
Was he a fucking weirdo?
guy.
He's quiet, you know.
Reserved.
He's reserved.
Gotcha.
He tried to make his famous like
reserved.
microwave pasta or some shit.
No,
about
he
this?
did not.
It was
Even
like
know
tuna-
what's
is
that?
it
What is that?
He tried to like
not-
invent some like microwavable pasta while doing an interview with GQ over COVID over Zoom. He's like, yeah, I'm just fucking around and making this like crazy ridiculous. And he's like, oh, this is pretty good. I should like patent this.
Pattinson.
Pattinson it?
Yeah. He's fucking around the lab making microwave pasta. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, you mentioned some legends, but like in terms of stylists currently working today, who are your favorites besides yourself?
There's many that I love. I think Charlotte Collet is amazing. She's super creative. She's always like, you know, like firing ideas and I mean, she's a beast. And, you know, I think Lotta's very good. There's so many great stylists out there.
Too many?
There's a lot of stylists. There's a little bit of an oversaturation on stylists for sure.
What goes through your mind when
But
you see?
but it's okay. I'm actually so we've been through an era where it was just like new. We needed to get like someone new to revitalize, and now there's a little bit of a return to like experience, which is a nice thing.
Yeah.
Well, what goes through your head when you see like kids on social media? It used to be like, yo, I'm a creative director. It's like, all right, you like made a t-shirt. Now it's like, I'm a stylist. Like you.
I mean,
You take fit pics.
I take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
I know, you know, but I get some of these, some of these people are like creating these like sort of little worlds. Like Lotta really has created a world, and it's impressive.
What would be like your number one piece of advice then for a young person who doesn't want to just put stylist in their bio, but wants to actually pursue this? Like as
you have to think of the whole picture.
Yeah.
Like you can't just think about the look and that the shirt, being a stylist is not about, putting on the flyest pair of pants with the coolest like sweatshirt ever. That's really like 33.3% of what you do. You know what I mean? Like there's so many little hurdles that you have to sort of like figure out, and it's like a Tetris puzzle.
Gotcha.
So I think like be super passionate about what you do, but also like, understand that there's a lot more that goes into that, and it's a lot of times like assistants, you'll get these assistants now, they're coming in and they're kind of like, well, I know, I can do that, like.
And what do you say to them? Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
No, you
literally
more
like
tequila.
you don't even know what's going on right now.
Get me a coffee, you little bitch. Shut your mouth. Know your role.
There's so many like elements that like,
What's some assistant behavior that really pisses you off?
Ooh.
On set. On set.
It's the nodding at a look.
What?
You're
Can you expand on
doing
that?
something. And again, like, when you're doing style outs, whatever, and you're like, you have the client there, you're doing the style outs and you're trying to make something cool, but you also have these parameters to work with. And you
Right.
know that there's all these little boxes that you have to tick in your head. And then you have your assistant being like, just like, kind of like, silently saying like, yeah, it's good. That's good.
So you want,
like,
do you want
I
What do you
don't.
want
I
from
do
them?
not need to hear that at that moment. You just don't want to hear either. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
you don't want to hear that it's bad or good. You're just like, let me just like,
let me cook.
Let me,
Yeah. We're in the process of this.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Shut up, daddy's
And,
working.
and this is coming from a good place,
Right.
Like the assistant is like, this looks good, but it's like, nah, this isn't the time.
You're not
for
the
this,
client. Your
I
approval
know.
means nothing.
If
to
I'm
me.
putting this on, I know it's gonna look good. So like, I'm not even trying to.
We're only at
get that.
33.3% of the gig. All right, relax.
Exactly.
Not there.
You're answering 33%.
Before being a full-time stylist, just going back a little bit in time, you were fashion director of V and V Man from like 2008 to 2016, which was
Yeah.
such a psychotic time
Yeah.
in fashion. Are you scared that kids currently are looking to that era for their inspiration today?
Scared?
Yeah.
Why would I be scared?
I don't know. You kind of mentioned, you're like, yeah, like there was some crazy shit going on. That
Well, no,
some
it,
kids
it
trying to, like,
was
sample
it
into their
was some
kids'
of the
head.
best. I mean, there was some crazy shoots. Like there was some amazing, Are you talking about the inside politics or the
No,
actual
just like
work?
just like the trends and like the aesthetics, I guess. If not scared, are you like,
Well,
Are you
and
stoked?
everything comes back, right? Because we're all like nostalgia based. So whatever it is that you were fucking with when you were like 20, then you're gonna bring back up. And also when you were 13 and you couldn't actually be with your 20-year-old
Yep.
brethrens, you're gonna wanna relook at that and think that's cool because you thought it was cool, even though, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the whole process of like, so I totally get why, but I mean, that's like high gloss, I don't know if, is high gloss like, I mean, I guess it's like fantasy versus reality, and it depends on what camp you're sort of in, it was uber fantasy, and it was cool. They have some like amazing, like David Sims shoots with like, Joe McKenna and Raquel Zimmerman, like as a witch, in the middle of like woods all messed up and like, like wild stuff.
That'll sell a lot of cauldrons,
Like,
well, there's money in editorial back then.
Yeah.
yeah.
Still, definitely. Are there any fashion trends from that era that you feel maybe a little bit of remorse in playing a part in pushing?
Ooh.
Including what?
Like, did you feel like when you think back on that era, you're like, oh fuck, I wish I hadn't really, been ride or die for like that one trend that
Which core?
with the advantage of hindsight, maybe. Yeah.
I honestly like. There's not. I actually am always interested in the shit you hate, or the shit I hate, because if I can somehow manage to make that turn around for me, then I get a point for myself.
That's growth.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's growth. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this thing, there's nothing that's off the table. And actually doing something, I'm not like, oh my God, this is not the look. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Absolutely not.
like, no. Exactly. Like, I can't do that.
You are a yes
On your
man.
Tim Gunn shit.
That's the thing. Like you had all these stylists back then before social media, and they were like these crazy caricatures of what stylists were. There was like this one red carpet guy, a bald guy, who was always like, just like really just like, just insane. They just looked like clowns all of them, you know?
Because they're playing larger than life roles, right? Like,
yeah.
kinda
They're like entertainment,
right?
fashion,
Exactly. Like
you know?
Joan Rivers, was not because she's a critic or whatever. She was a comedian as well, but okay,
and a genius.
yes,
And
true.
a genius.
We miss her.
And a genius.
Rest in paradise, Queen.
Why did you decide to leave editorial?
What?
Why did you decide to leave editorial? Like you were at
To
the
leave a
magazine?
magazine?
Yeah, to leave media. Yeah.
It's not, I wanted to get out of the parameters of V.
Okay.
V and V Man had get, I said the parameters are good, but at those parameters I had exhausted them.
Did you see the writing on the wall with like media and internet and social media, or were you just like,
not
time
enough,
to go?
not enough.
We're gonna live for.
I didn't understand. I didn't really understand the power of really Instagram of how that sort of like shifted everything, you know?
You don't like change. I'm sensing. Are you like you're resistant to change?
I do resist change.
Yeah, which is fine.
But I'm all here for it. I'm just like, I'm an old goose.
What's your Instagram Explore page look like?
I think a lot, like honestly, like it's pretty sad.
A lot of dudes.
I
Yeah,
think it's a lot of dudes.
No fashion stuff.
No, there's fashion. It's fashion stuff and dudes, which is really
the two major food groups.
It's
We
kind
love
of
that.
ours, but
Yeah.
mine, except girls instead of guys. Just like AI girls at this point, honestly.
oh, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Can we take a look?
Let's take a little peek. Let's peep that warlock.
We see you hiding. We see you hiding.
Oh,
shit.
but he's-
hiding shit.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
Whoa, what?
Body,
Whoa.
like some
Okay.
body stuff. So there's some like it's
There's
kind of like
body
gross
stuff, and there's
out.
a lot of like insect. Oh,
That's a man. That's a sexy
Who's
man.
that? Is that Adam Kimmel? Who is that?
Adam Kimmel. Oh my God, where's Adam Kimmel? Bring back Adam Kimmel.
He was the creative director of WeWork, and then I think
he's
he
in
just got a
jail.
fashion. He just got a fashion job.
Yeah. No, I mean, bring back Adam Kimmel.
He just got a job somewhere.
He was.
He did get.
He was
job
a straight
somewhere.
man in fashion. That was like
He
one of
was.
the.
And he was an anomaly.
Yeah.
and he was and it was very, very fucking cool.
His shit was fire.
His shit was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was dope for sure.
I mean, I remember he also had the whole thing was like his hangers and his cloth bags that he would send clothes in. They were so good.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a registered sex offender in Hollywood also named Adam Kimmel. So his SEO is kind of fucked up.
GQ was writing what happened to Adam Kimmel in 2017. So I
Yeah.
think we're
He
past Adam
just
Kimmel.
took a gig somewhere.
He did. I saw that. I saw that. I
Like
saw
a
that.
big gig or
Kind of.
Good for him.
Not
Yeah,
like a
he's
huge
fire.
major place, but like something that
Yeah.
like we're like, oh, okay, that's a place.
He was great.
okay.
Figured out.
Shout out Adam Kimmel wherever you are. Come on
He
the
is
pod.
great.
Yeah.
Was there anything still today you miss about working in media directly?
Yeah, definitely the like sitting down and figuring out issues. I mean, that at Tokyon, that was the funnest sort of thing, and then because it was so small, we were like four around a table trying to figure out what the whole issue was going to be. That was so. It was so multifaceted, and it was about culture in general, and even at V, it was but it had more skewed towards fashion. But like, everything kind of like leans on everything, right? So like this idea, this camaraderie thing, I'm jumping in from one gig to the next, and I don't have this like continuous sort of like, sit around a table and discuss ideas and whatever, and just shoot out things, and it being stupid or not or whatever, like all of those brainstorming.
Yeah,
with
you're
people.
just you're blowing in the wind.
blowing in the wind.
Yeah, you're Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Gather no moss.
Do you miss that kind of like group project mentality, like the
For
team?
sure.
Because you're
sure.
Batman, right? You're solo.
I'm solo.
Besides
Yeah.
your assistants,
I'm
right?
really, really solo. Yeah.
So you miss the camaraderie,
Yeah.
the collective goal.
Yeah.
Happy hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy hour.
Healthcare, I'm sure.
Yeah. Healthcare. Healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare would be nice.
Do you think you could ever go back?
That really
to-
strong healthcare we had.
yeah.
Is VV Man? Are they American magazines?
Yeah.
They're not European. They're American. Who's their parent company? Do you know?
There is no parent company. It's a visionary group.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Are they?
It's
Are those
his.
mags
It's
still
Stevens.
around?
Stevens magazines. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's
Stephen Gann.
I think someone else.
Who are you thinking of?
I don't know. Steven Meisel. Is that a name?
You're not doing this. We're not doing that.
Do you think you could ever go back?
Wow,
Do you think you could ever go back to media?
Mizell. Mizell? Stephen Mizell?
I can't speak French.
Yeah.
Do you want to remain independent and just doing your own thing, Jay, or do you think?
No, I mean, I don't know what magazines mean so much anymore, even though I still like them, but they're not arbiter of culture like they once were. I do think magazines more so than ever, because they're documentation of a time, because they will stick around as I think we have, like, I'm having issues sort of like, shooting these like, these advertisers that make the magazine keep going, but that are not really offering anything kind of, amazing to shoot. And it's really hard to get the clothes because celebrity demand and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So if you have an idea in mind to try to build an idea of fashion, and you can't even get these looks to try to make this, then you're stuck with like,
dregs,
like just the dregs of like, and then you've lost. So I do think that the role of the magazine right now is to document this fashion, almost kind of like a sort of like like a documentation of style and clothing, and as a catalog almost. I think you see it more in a magazine than you do online.
I guess that's the challenge though, right? Is like a magazine takes what, 3 months at least, a few months in advance to produce. So like you have to capture the now, but
don't be the now. You're not going to be the now. Magazines are no longer going to be the now.
But you're saying they got to document the moment.
Well, you got to document the moment, but because it's a keepsake, right? Like, and I don't know what that means financially, like for people. Like, do people really care about that?
In the red is what it means.
It means in the red, so that's going to go out. Like obviously, I get it. That's like some sort of like weird concept of like So but I think that's also why like a lot of brands are doing their own magazines and are doing their own sort of like, doing a magazine for a brand would be amazing. I'd love to do that.
Oh,
okay. Let's manifest.
What publications, whether it's from a brand or legacy title or indie new kid on the block, what publications do you think today are putting out the most fire menswear editorial?
Menswear editorial?
Yeah.
Menswear editorial.
Slim Pickens.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens. Yeah. Slim Pickens.
I'm trying to even think like what is good
for men's. I mean, I still like a Fantastic Man.
Sure.
You know.
Fantastic,
I don't know. I can't even look at it in those terms of menswear and women's wear.
Well, okay, just generally speaking.
Generally speaking, I think Double does a really good job. I think Middle Plane is doing a really good job.
Okay.
Are these indie titles? Because I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay, because they're right over my head.
I think M. Le Monde, is doing a really good job.
That sounds French.
Yeah. It's like the tea, the Monde supplement, the tea supplement.
Gotcha. Oh, okay, gotcha. Then
there's a bunch of little like magazines that come in, like there's that group like All In have that magazine, that's really great, and they have this kind of great brand, and it's like the coolest thing ever, and it's kind of all meshed together as a and it makes sense. I get it, it's all part of this branding exercise.
It's an entity.
Yeah, it's its own machine. It's a snake sucking its own dick.
Yes.
It's a fantastic result.
Well, listen, someone's gotta.
Yeah. This dick ain't gonna suck itself. I mean, unless I guess you do suck your own dick in this scenario.
I've tried.
Never mind.
Rib removal surgery. Can we focus on menswear for a little bit? Where do you think menswear is headed this summer? From your,
I mean, for me, menswear. I mean, listen, we are the fuck boy like logos, sneaker culture. I'm sorry, boys.
It's a rap.
It's a rap. It's a real rap. Like, and everybody knows this. I'm not teaching anything new. So I do think that the future of menswear is all these little bespoke little brands that maybe come up and are just feel special and aren't, don't have logos emblazoned everywhere. And, even what the kids are doing at Colbo, and just these little bespoke brand that you feel that that's why vintage is so popular too, right? Because you feel like, okay, cool. Like I'm wearing something that so I think those little brands, the Orly, that's the future of menswear for now. You know what I mean? Like these kind of unrecognizable, I don't want to see you and know that blue denim jacket was,
right.
God damn it.
Jay, we could be twinsies. Just text me.
With you, we could be twinsies.
If we go to the same function, just let me know ahead of time. Like, yo, that's what we do. I'm like, hey, I'm wearing the small talk hat.
I was like, what am I going to wear on Throwing Fits? And then I look at it, and I'm like, oh shit, he's wearing my jacket.
But is it so? It's like plain. It's like plain nondescript clothes that fit well.
Plain,
beautiful textiles,
like
what are we-
textiles, like real like craftsmanship. And I think you know, kids now are like really into that. So
Every
I think
brand you mentioned that you're either wearing or that you're into right now is like right in the wheelhouse
yes,
of like throwing fits and our guys. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strata of the zeitgeist is.
you guys are clever.
Yeah, Stu Nicholson.
You guys
Lacazette.
know.
perfect mid. It's like what do we call it? Like mid tier, advanced mid. Not mid meaning like average.
Like,
like high
do you want
fashion.
do you want to wear any of the big brands? Like honestly, like
No.
Loewe,
it's
maybe.
really hard.
Just
Yeah.
the shoes though. Not
Maybe
Bottega.
maybe Loewe, maybe Bottega men's.
Yeah. If I could afford it, which I cannot. So it doesn't. This is a moot point because I can't afford it. So
just
yeah.
the shoes.
Yeah.
And
Loewe does
Bottega
look great
men's,
to wear.
I like the idea. It's a little cardboardy to me. It's a little stiff,
Mhm.
you know. But I you know, it's always very nice.
Tasteful.
You know, tasteful.
You don't
Yeah.
wear any of the big names.
Gucci,
No, I think
Louis.
no. I mean, it's not. And honestly, it's. I just don't. It's not particularly designed for me.
When you vintage shop, are there specific brands that you look for?
Yeah,
Like what can you tell us that? hit
LL
list?
Beam.
Okay.
for sure. Old Gap, 90s Gap.
That's having a moment right now. I feel
It
like
is
for
having
sure.
a moment. Yeah.
Bay Area.
Bay Area. Yeah.
Bay Area. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. LL Bean Gap.
LL Beam,
Did you ever
Gap,
get
Eddie
hyped?
Bauer.
Did you ever get hyphy as a youth?
A what?
Did you ever get hyphy as a youth?
What's hyphy?
It's a Bay Area rap.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Oh,
Love
like
MDMA and-
Delta Funky Homo Sapien and stuff like that.
a little later.
That's
All right,
that's
see,
a little
that's-
crunchy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was crunchy. I was
E40.
Oh,
Keep the
E40.
Sneak.
Right,
Mac
right, right.
Dre.
right. No,
Ghost Ride the Wheel.
no, I was
Tell me
more,
what it
I
goes.
was more like
Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Delta Funky Homo Sapien, crunchy digital underground.
Okay. Yeah.
And
You're a hacky sack.
fuck. Who you know
Souls of Mischief.
Souls of Mischief. Thank you.
Yeah. Diggable Planets.
Diggable Planet.
Yeah.
Ladybug. Ladybug.
Ladybug and Butterfly.
Ladybug and Butterfly.
Were you out at this moment in time, or was this
I mean,
to be straight? Have you heard the new Souls of Mischief, guys?
I was not out. I came out my last year of high school. I kind of like had a boyfriend and girlfriend because it's kind of cool to be like a
damn.
little like, you know,
Mr. Bitches over
but
here.
like, but as a show, you know, like
Mr.
sort of
Gets
like,
Bitches.
you know,
Okay.
and it didn't really.
Okay. No one fell
I
for
just
it.
went straight to gay. It was just a quick path.
He only
like,
is
sort of
fucking one of these.
like no,
people.
I'm bi.
80s San Francisco, not necessarily a
80s, 90s,
90s. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry. Mid 90s,
yeah, mid 90s for sure.
mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
San Francisco, not really a hotbed of fashion. Like what?
No,
what
it
your-
was.
Was it?
Yeah, are you kidding
What was
me?
going on there?
Like 90s San Francisco is the other culture other than New York. Like that's like if there's like street culture, it's San Francisco.
Okay.
Because it's club kids, it's skating, it's graffiti artists. So that whole thing, like it's
Woodstock 94.
was that San Francisco?
No, but I'm saying it that.
Yeah. It totally like Lollapalooza for sure.
Hippies.
Lollapalooza was like, you know, I think like second festival is San Francisco, you know? So like, yeah,
Okay.
you know, liberalism gone awry.
Right. But in terms of like high fashion,
Huh?
in terms of like high fashion, like
There
high-end
was a
stuff.
couple, like there was these two stores. There was a couple stores. One that I worked at, but this is Rolo Progressive Menswear, and it was all funnels. Everything
progressive
was a funnel.
menswear. Is that just a fucking? Is that code for you know?
It was called RPM.
There you go.
Rolo Progressive Menswear. So it was all like funnels, Velcros, clasps, no plackets ever, anything. Just like, you know, that Miu Miu Prada, like
Okay,
sort
sure,
of
yeah.
like,
because what
know.
you described sounds terrible. But
No,
now,
but you know, like a funnel with like a
Oh,
little
okay.
Velcro
Matrixy,
thing with like
like-
some Sonys that went back here. You know,
Oh,
like, kinda
okay.
like, you know,
It's like gorpy, futuristic.
Gorpy
but-
Future, yeah, a little Raffy to begin
Oh,
early
okay.
rap,
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
yeah.
You're painting.
And there was a couple stores that were really like, and I was, you know, and I'd see him,
just a young
I'd always see
bisexual.
Umberto Leone always like kind of running around. And I didn't know him from
shout
them,
out
but like,
Umberto, friend of the show.
you know, I was like, oh my god, who is that?
I'm
No,
just
he'd always be wearing funnels.
Yeah. You're just a young bisexual
Yeah.
barmaid.
Young bi wench in a funnel neck.
Oh my god, dream life.
Damn.
God, I
Sounds fire.
should have
Should we
been.
bring back the funnels that trend this summer?
Yeah.
Didn't I feel like people sometimes bring him back every now and then? Oh,
big-
what do you guys think of Magliano? You like that? You like him?
It's not for
really.
me. I think it's one of those things too, because like also like I feel like, again, with social, like you see people talking about shit, not shouting from the rafters, but like obviously it's getting like press in that way. And it's, I think, one of those things where it's like, I can appreciate it, but it's not something that I want to wear.
Sure.
Right, necessarily.
Yeah, I can
but
imagine.
I feel like people are talking about him like have been like he's next up.
Yeah.
Why, are you working with him? Is that why?
No. I'm working with him. No, no. I just think he's actually an interesting Italian designer.
He showed up Pity, right?
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I think, when he came across my desk.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
Are there any small brands that you got your eye on? I mean, you mentioned about how like loving to have like put your stamp on things, and like maybe like a young little Japanese brand that is maybe trying to break out.
I mean, there's this brand Rocky Mountain Featherbed that I love.
Sure.
They've been around since like the 70s.
Yeah, that's classic.
No, but it's
dude.
not. It's not really. They have, but they haven't. They've been rebought by Japanese. No,
right.
it's
That's like the license or whatever.
It's a license. Yeah.
That was a big we've been talking a lot about how like the urban woodsman look from like 09, 10.
Yeah.
And that was on the menswear blogs. Like,
Yeah.
get a proxy to get the
Junior.
Rocky. Yeah, sure.
Junior was doing all that.
Absolutely. Still is.
Yeah.
Still kicking. But I feel like that was a thing where people are like, like I need my Japanese proxy for like, Rocky Mountain Featherbed or whatever.
Right.
Like
yeah,
that was
denim, 45 RPM.
Yes.
Let's go.
Which is one of the best stores in New York.
Still.
Best smelling store.
Still. Yeah.
If you want to buy an $800 flannel shirt,
Yeah.
They got
the best flannel shirts.
that doesn't fit you because you're an American sized person. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
45 RPM.
What else do you want to talk about? No, I'm just kidding. What what trends do you want to see die? What are you sick of seeing?
Again, like, well, I mean, the sneaker, man, the sneaker's hard. I mean, I find it really hard. I like wearing sneakers. I find it really hard to wear a sneaker.
What's your go-to sneaker?
Yeah. What's the rotation?
I mean, it's an ASIC, it's a Keen, it's a, but
West
like,
Coast boy.
I just find it really hard because, and I'm a total, like, I've always loved sneakers. Like really, early on, like that was my thing, was displaying my Dunks and my Jordans, like that.
You were a fucking nerd.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you were bisexual.
This is in 1999, you guys. This is in 1999.
Yeah,
like,
different time.
Hold up.
Yeah.
So, and I was a kid. So like, that felt right. But like now it's just, but this was again, if sort of thing. Now everybody knows there's no exclusivity in the sneaker sort of like
I think
space.
we're past peak sneaker for sure.
Sure.
I think like a lot of kids now all the sneaker kids are wearing loafers.
Loafers. Yeah. Everyone's over in loafers. Yeah.
Now you got the hype shit. Now you got hype kicks on.
Loafers.
Yeah.
That's correct. It was
Loafer
it's
head.
a natural progression from sneaker, I guess.
Growing up.
No, but it's not a derby. You know what I mean? It's not a lace up. It's like I don't know. For me, anyways, it's like somehow you know what it was. It's sneaker to Birkenstock to
the Boston.
Yeah,
I'm so honestly I'm sick of fucking Boston's, dude.
I know.
I'm so
Past that too,
fucking.
though. But I think that sneakers are now like a safe space where it's like the losers have moved on.
Thank God.
So it's like
yes.
we can now, if we want to, like you can wear, like I think we're both wearing sneakers right now. What the fuck are those?
Karu. And Zara.
Oh yeah, and it shows.
Zara?
And
Oh,
it
Zara.
shows. No one crazy sneakers.
Crazy sneakers. Is that like a
a mule? James is wearing an ASIC mule
with Kiko?
with
Kiko?
not
Let me ask you this: as a
not just any
stylist,
ASIC.
as a stylist, are there like styling hacks that you're like, that is such a fucking creative crutch where it's like crazy sneakers? Or my personal favorite right now is like, yo, add in a cigarette, make them smoke.
Wait, really? Are we saying that?
Yeah,
James is seeing it.
Nice. Bring it back.
He's getting real
I'm not
pissed.
anti-sig. I'm just like, it's a creative crutch now. It's like, it's a cliche at this point.
Really? God,
Yeah.
it's so funny what people like for me, like cigarettes, I would never even like think about bringing up on the set because there would be so many red flags.
Even for editorial?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you thinking more like street, like street
No,
style?
I'm thinking
shit?
editorial and street
Okay.
style.
Really?
Are there any creative crutches you see like stylists really leaning on? And like over.
Oh, well,
depending on?
hold on. There's always a few. There's always a few that come back like,
Name them.
like, there was like, for a while, it was like a couple sunglasses, on the head sort of thing. Like, belts as bras. Belts as bras have really, last season, were really a thing.
Okay.
Like, they were like everywhere. Like, everyone was using a belt as a bra. And it was like, okay. And it's like,
Sweater over the shoulders, like that. What about that? Or
sweater over the shoulder?
like drape the sweater, like
No, I mean, that's always, that's
Okay.
a staple.
coat over
That's
the
a
shoulders.
staple.
You know who, for us at least, was a big, influence for us was Oral Lee.
Yeah.
Gonna go Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They showed it like all like what is that called? The sweater tie? Like
Oh, yeah.
It was all fucked.
And
up.
mine was tied. Yeah, mine was tied to the side, and you guys commented on it.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's what
You
we
guys
were
were
like.
commenting on
That's what
my
we said.
side, on my side.
And we were like, yo, did you
Askew.
style this show? You're like, no.
The sweater askew, the tie askew.
The skewed, yes.
What about the models jumping?
That's always a classic. We always love a model jumping. Come
Shout
on,
out Peggy
that's like
Sirota.
Do
that's
you have a
like
go-to
you know.
trampoline brand that you want to bring
Yeah,
up?
definitely.
What about coat
Definitely.
over the shoulder without your arms to the sleeves? Like that, like a cape, like a coat.
Oh, like
draped.
sort of like
Yeah.
like
Is that a crutch?
ooh, it depends on the person that's wearing
Okay.
it. Like it really depends on the person that's inside of it. If you're too precious about it, you're out.
What about
Never
like,
be precious.
some good like dick print or nipples?
Dick print.
Yeah.
Always
Torque.
love a dick print.
Torque nipples.
Again, the willy underwear.
How
Did you guys
much
ever see those underwear?
the pre-distressed ones?
Yeah.
Someone wore them to On the Pot.
Oh, right.
Celebrity.
Who did do that?
Omar Apollo?
Yeah. Or
Moses?
Moses Sumney,
That
maybe.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Some gay pop star.
Yeah.
Are all the underwear ads stuffed?
No,
What?
they're not.
Really?
They're
They're not.
photoshopped after the fact.
They're not.
Wait.
I don't know about that because I'm not in the process, but the ones
Justin
that I have
Bieber's
done with the biggest brands
and
that
the
you know
biggest
of, like I've never stuffed them.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they like fluff it a little bit?
Definitely, you have to
Oh,
tell them to
come on.
readjust.
Yeah.
I don't know about fluff,
Yeah.
but definitely like
Self-fluff.
you have to be like, okay, buddy, like
Give me a
maybe, like,
second.
move it over to the.
Oh,
You know,
really?
it's gonna look better if you move it to that, like, or like just make it go down
Yeah.
rather than
Right.
up.
Don't Texas flip that bitch. Respect.
There is little, like, of course, there's some models that don't, that are coming on these sets and I have no idea, and they're just kind of like, ugh.
They weren't cast based on their bulge to begin with.
Well, yeah, they were cast in underwear for sure, but once they're on set with 30 people around,
Right.
it's like
Ooh,
it's a different,
shrinkage.
it's a little bit of a different
Did you,
story.
ever have a model show up and you're like, this guy's dick is too small?
No, that's never happened.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have to be more sensitive around underwear shoots now?
Oh.
Given that we're in fucking
I
woke-ass cancel
I
culture?
really need to sometimes be because I'm all over.
You're handsy.
I'm handsy.
What's your job?
I'm handsy, but I'm up skirts and down shirts and but I'm not the gentlest flower on set. And I'm really just kind of just trying to get the look right,
Right.
So my intent is never, I don't think ever feels
Sexual.
sexual
It's
or creepy. It's like real,
You're here
I'm
to get the job done.
I'm just the job done. So that, and everything's about intent, right? Like I'm not coming at them,
Right.
Right. You're not in your Bruce Weber shit.
no.
You ever work with Bruce Weber?
No, I love Bruce.
Yeah. I mean, he is
love-
fucking sick. I mean, all the,
Sick.
sexual misconduct
And
aside.
I don't.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Jay, how much money do you make?
Not enough.
Okay. What do you spend your money on?
Clothing and drugs.
Mm,
No, I'm kidding.
just drugs.
Clothing, yeah, just drugs, yeah, prescription drugs, not your street drugs.
Cholesterol medication.
Yeah. Trips,
Yeah.
yeah.
You get to travel for pleasure?
Food.
For pleasure?
Food. I don't like. I don't bat an eye at food.
Do you cook? Since
Yeah.
you're on the road all the
I
time?
cook as much as I can.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Even when I'm in Paris, I try to cook as much as I can when I'm in Paris. Yeah.
Why? You're in
Why?
Paris.
Because I eat better that way.
Yeah, true.
I just eat better.
What are your favorite spots in New York
Favorite spots to what?
to eat? Chico Knox Steam Room?
Like Ava's Kitchen down the block.
Okay.
I love Odeon forever.
for sure.
Cassetta's really nice.
Shout out to Les's.
Yeah. No, it's always fun stuff to look at.
Dinner and a show.
But I'm not such a big restaurant a guy, even though it's such a New York thing.
So what do you? But you said you spend money on food, so it's just like
Oh,
buying mad crazy.
yeah,
ingredients?
like stuff like that. Yeah,
Cookware.
yeah, cookware. I buy
What's
that.
your go-to meal to cook? You have a bunch of friends over. What are you making?
A roast chicken.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Classic.
Classic.
Yeah,
Simple.
Yeah. Okay.
roast chicken on the Zuni restaurant roast chicken from San Francisco. It's like on bread with some sort of with kale, big kale around it. No. I know. The kale part is
San Francisco.
it's a leftover from the 90s. It's fine, but it's actually good.
Yeah. As an adult, Jay, what is the brokest you've ever been?
The brokest?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I haven't. I know it ebbs and flows, man.
Really? Still to this day?
No, I mean, this day I'm okay. I'm fine.
It's like a 20 whatever year old.
Honestly, like the last time, and by the way, I never even thought about it then. That was the fucking most amazing thing.
Right.
When I was like 26, 25, and like I didn't have any money, and it was, it was so rewarding.
You're living the dream.
Living the dream, riding around in my crew on a BMX, like going to like fucking Lux, and like it was the most amazing time, like Max Fish. And
Give all your money away and try to relive that, try to recapture that glory.
Cool.
Thanks, babe. I'll send you.
He's
a check.
aged out of that, I believe.
Checks in the mail.
Well, Jay, we were so looking forward to this episode. Did not disappoint from where we're sitting. I don't know how you feel, but we are about to find out how you feel because we would love to know after spending an hour and a half with the goddamn motherfucking boys.
The boys.
Straight dudes call themselves.
Mhm.
Do you have, after someone that's worked with all the fucking legends, all the goats, and is a goat himself, do you have any constructive criticism you would like to give us?
I don't really, because I think what you guys are doing is awesome. I like this energy in fashion. It's you are part of the ecosystem as well, and that's super refreshing. And
Tell that to the Met Gala.
and are you trying to get an invite to the Met Gala?
No,
Not particularly. Maybe
Not
just
really.
like a couple after parties that hit.
It's not that fun.
The gala's not that fun?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, but I think now you just stand around. You're from one room to another room.
Photo op to photo
You're
op.
Yeah, and it's like
Eating trash.
Selfie
think-
time.
back in the day when it was like $100 to get in, you could smoke and like
Was it a wild party? Like people just doing fucking
I think
blow
so.
in
I
the
think so.
handicap
I've
stall?
gone with Lee actually,
Oh shit, how was that?
and I went for his after his posthumous, like for the McQueen one. He hated that kind of stuff, so it was like really like difficult for him.
What was the vibe?
I remember going with him to the VH1 Fashion Awards, and little Kim was sitting behind us, and he was wearing a Scottish kilt, and he had the knife.
Yeah.
Like the knife in the sock, and he was getting the award. Little Kim was going up, and he. Right, I'm sitting next to him. I'm wearing the craziest look. I have a McQueen leather jumpsuit. You're never gonna find it. Someone just pulled it out for me recently, and I was like, "Holy moly!" I'm wearing like David Beckham McQueen, like sort of like aviator see-through glasses. You'll never find it. I don't even know if I could find it on my phone. But anyways, he's like so nervous. He was like pulling out the knife out of his sock until he just like cut his hand open as he's going up. So he's like going up. He's like, "Fuck! Give me a tissue! Give me a tissue!" And I'm like, "Ah!" And he's going up, and he's just like bleeding.
He looked
I
cool.
found you.
Yeah.
Ooh!
That took all of 5 seconds. He looks sick. Dude. And
You're
he
on
got
Pinterest, bro.
got Nike Air Maxes, bro. This is going in.
Oh,
Getty,
Oh my
dude.
god.
Oh,
What?
fire. With the
Oh,
Air
look.
Maxes, dude.
like what the hell is that look?
I mean, listen, it was a product of the times, my friend.
It was
This
a
is
product
pre,
of
this
the time.
pre in the Mary Janes? Damn, or not.
The gilly laces, yeah.
Yeah, this
Is that
so good.
is that a Pro Club white tee?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Not then.
Okay, so no constructive criticism.
Yeah. so
No
we're the-
constructive
we're the best.
criticism. I think just like you you guys are doing your own little lane, and I think
Thanks,
that's
Jay.
really cool. And
Appreciate
I think
that,
that's part of like
Do you wanna
style
you wanna
and
style our next photo
culture.
shoot?
And no, but
We
you,
can't
guys, you
afford
guys
you.
can do it.
We can't afford you.
Yeah, we do self style, honestly.
You guys look at you
Closed
guys.
model
You guys-
zone.
Well, where can the kids follow you? What would you like to plug? The floor is yours.
I mean, I have an Instagram, my name, and Massacret at
We wanna-
me.com.
we
I
gotta-
don't.
Great follow.
There's no,
follow.
huh?
Great follow.
You're a great
You're a
follow.
great follow.
We're gonna send some
Ah.
fucking goons your way. Don't even worry about it.
Cool.
Get the shirtless pics ready.
some Zins.
Yeah.
They got the Zins over
Come
there.
on,
You
man.
know what I'm saying?
Where are you from?
Mawa, New Jersey.
Yeah,
But I went to
that
college.
tracks.
I went
so
to-
they're Southern or Jersey?
I went to college in North Carolina though, so
Right,
that's where I
okay.
picked up smoking because you
I'm
could buy
going to
them on
North
campus
Carolina.
for
I'm going to
$5.
North Carolina on Sunday. I've never been.
For a show?
No, to prep this denim campaign.
All right.
Sick.
Just
Can't wait to
down
see
there.
it. Go follow this man
Please.
for fucking bars, for glimpse into the fashion industry,
Mhm.
and I guess support the denim campaign that you're gonna go shoot.
Yeah. Coming soon.
Jay, we want to thank you for coming onto the only podcast.
Thanks for
that
having me.
matters.
This was
Thank
super
you, Jay.
fun.
Chef, take us out.